My name is Zach Pleasance, and this is my company Valuation Project. I decided on the Tractor Supply Company, or TSC, as the company to which to base my valuation project on. Let's talk about TSC's company history. TSC started out as just a small ranch and farm mail order catalog business and has grown into a $4 billion in sales a year empire. Today they are the leading farm and ranch supply retailer in the U.S. They have over 1,100 stores and employ over 16,000 workers. These stores are mostly located in rural areas or towns in order to be in close proximity to their customer base. Let's look at TSC's most recent past performance. The book value at the beginning of 2010 was $9.15, and by the end of 2011 was $14.15 per share. You can see on the last column on the right that the book value has continuously increased. Earnings per share has also continuously increased. In 2009, earnings per share was $1.68. In 2010, $2.36, and in 2011, it was $3.13. Stocks issued have a negative effect on each year's ending book value. This was due to TSC buying up large amounts of treasury stock. Dividends also had a negative effect on the overall book value, except in 2009. In 2009, there were no dividends issued. The other or miscellaneous category yielded 30 cents to 85 cents toward each ending year's book value. Now that we've talked about past performance, let's talk about the assumptions needed to complete the company's valuation project. While 20% seems like a high number for a conservative guesstimate, the actual earnings per share increased 40% from 2009 to 2010 and approximately 33% from 2010 to 2011. This makes a 20% assumed growth rate appear reasonable for 1 year. Each subsequent year after year 1, the assumed earnings per share growth rate continuously fell. This is due to most companies not being able to continuously sustain this 20% growth rate on a long-term basis. In year 4 and 5, the growth rate bottomed out at 4%. Again, while TSC may have an actual higher EPS growth rate than predicted, this guesstimate is supposed to be of a conservative nature. The same figure was assumed for all applicable years regarding dividends, amount of stock issued, and other miscellaneous items. Each assumed figure was derived by looking at the high and low values of each of the actual dividends, stock issued, and other items per share as noted on the past performance slide. These actual figures were calculated from TSC's consolidated financial statements. This assumed amount represents a realistic figure since it falls between the most recent actual per share figures. The assumed discount rate was 8%. This discount rate was by far the most sensitive assumption for this valuation model. I will talk more about the discount rate in future slides. The assumed long-term growth rate was 4%. This rate was chosen because it mirrors the U.S. economic growth rate. Again, this valuation model was to be of a conservative nature, so to have a rate higher than the U.S. economics growth rate would be somewhat aggressive. Now that we have the assumptions, let's compare the actual stock price against the hypothetical stock price. The actual stock price on December 31st, 2011 was $70.15. The hypothetical stock price that the valuation model produced was $72.51. As you can see, both the actual and hypothetical stock price were fairly close. This is mostly due to the 8% discount rate. But let's look and see how a different discount rate affects the hypothetical stock price. As you can see, if we raise the discount rate to 9%, the hypothetical stock price drops to approximately $56. And if we drop the discount rate to 7%, the hypothetical stock price is raised to approximately $99. As we stated earlier, the discount rate is by far the most sensitive assumption. Let's conclude this presentation by summarizing the main points. As we just saw, the discount rate is the most sensitive assumption. The 8% discount rate makes the hypothetical price closely mirror the actual stock price. Abnormal earnings make up the majority of TSC's stock price. Abnormal stock price accounts for $58.36 of the $72.51 hypothetical stock price. It appears that stockholders and analysts have a lot of confidence in TSC. The last point is that the long-term abnormal earnings account for $47.12 of the $58.36. This just shows where the bulk of the hypothetical stock price is. This concludes my valuation project, and I hope you have enjoyed it.